Hello, everybody. This is Brett Davis with Brett Davis Unleashed, coming to you from Dr. John Jaquish's studio in
Sure.
California. And
Office, factory.
Exactly.
I mean, depending on what room you're in. Yeah.
So we came all the way from San Diego from IQ Podcast in Coronado to talk about his cutting edge thoughts and ideas on training. And your book just recently came out.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about the book and how it's doing.
So the book is called Weightlifting is a Waste of Time. It's a pretty inflammatory title, especially for people who like weightlifting. But you notice I didn't call it resistance training is a waste of time. And I didn't say exercise is a waste of time. But what I have proven in the book is I've done a full literature review on variable resistance exercise. And what I did was when I developed a medical device, a lot of people think I came out of nowhere, from a fitness perspective. Well, that's right, because I was always in the medical device industry. And so I developed a medical device 13 years ago that puts axial force. So this is the axis of a bone, putting force end on the bone and compressing the bone to trigger bone growth. And people self-apply these forces because we want their own neural inhibitory process, their own comfort to determine how much force goes through the bone. So when that happened, I saw individuals, especially in the lower extremities, that's what we have the most data on. These are deconditioned elderly females that have osteoporosis, right? Or pre-osteoporosis called osteopenia. Now, these women were putting 6, 7, 8 times their body weight through their lower extremities. Now, some of the strongest people in the world can't lift 6 times their body weight. Mm-hmm. Who squats 6 times their body weight? I don't think anyone's ever done that.
Right. Ants do pretty good, but...
Right. Human beings, not so much. Yeah, so I collected all this data and realized because of our variable capacity, we have an incredible variable capacity. So basically, if I'm pushing away from myself, I can hold X amount of weight here and 7X here. Mm-hmm. So why would we ever train with the same weight here and here?
If you're getting more result here.
Right, because when you're lifting a regular weight, you don't have much muscle firing when you're in that strong range of motion. You only have it really working when it's in the weak range of motion. So what if we change the weight as we move? Now, we've always had bands, but bands by themselves, if you get them heavy enough to be relevant to strength, they're worthless because if you throw a band around your back that's going to deliver a couple 100 pounds, which is what you need, as soon as you start pushing away, the wrists start twisting and damage the joints. That's why people have tried to get a workout with bands, but it's kind of a joke. It's worthless. You can't do it. So what I patented was, of course, the bar.
It's beautifully designed, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted
it to be... Did you design this yourself?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Clean, elegant. It helps that it's made out of anodized aluminum milled to the millionth, just like an iPhone.
Wow.
But yeah, I really want to make it.
So aluminum is similar to what's in an iPhone.
Yeah, anodized aluminum. Yeah, and these are
very high grade.
Very high grade.
I didn't realize this was aluminum when
It's solid steel in the middle. Like an Olympic bar is hollow because this has to handle more weight than an Olympic bar.
Okay.
So it's a solid steel core, and then you can tell as I move the bar, the hooks stay parallel to the ground.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed. They're not moving.
Yeah, they go independent. That way your wrist is always neutral.
It takes pressure off, more pressure off causing injuries, and probably allows you to have more strength.
Yeah, you need to deliver far more force. So when I do a chest press, when I'm out here, I'm holding 540 pounds. When I'm in the middle, 300. When I'm at the bottom, about 100. So the weight varies as I move. And I can get to that 540 pounds maybe 20 times. So I'm getting the benefit of delivering that force into the musculature that I can never get.
Say that one, just in case somebody went and got a glass of water. Repeat what you just said about how many times you're doing.
So at the peak force is 540 pounds. I'm hitting that over 20 repetitions.
Did you hear that, everybody?
Yeah. It's And this is every movement. It's like, if it's an overhead press, I'm holding, whatever, 150 pounds.
So your body is totally confused and adapting. because it's like, what's going on?
I don't love that word.
Okay,
Re-educate. Yeah, muscle confusion has been disproven, but
Okay.
yeah, it's not confused. It's actually able to be engaged the way we're designed.
Okay.
If you ever watch movers, like professional guys who like move pianos and really heavy
I used
stuff.
to be a mover, by the way.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you'll totally get this. The movement patterns of those guys, they will move heavy objects with straps, and they figure out how to only use their strong range of motion.
Sure.
Yeah, and they do incredible stuff.
You don't fight what's going on. You
Right,
find
they're
ways.
moving refrigerators and
Yeah.
pianos and things that weigh thousands of pounds, and you see them and they're moving. They hardly break a sweat, and it's because they're just using efficiency. And that's how we engage. Like when you sprint, you only use 7 degrees of knee flexion. You have 180 available. Why don't you use 180? Wouldn't you be faster?
Yeah.
You'd be ridiculously slower.
Your technology sounds similar to the way the pyramids were built. If you think about it, I mean, those heavy blocks, the way they were used.
Yeah.
And I'm sure straps were used and pulleys and
yeah. I mean, Alex Jones would say the aliens built it, but you know, but he and I don't talk anymore.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's mad. He's mad that I watch regular TV, regular news programs.
What's TV?
Right. What everyone should shut off, so you could actually realize what a great place we live in.
Is that amazing?
Yeah, it's amazing.
By the way, you live in a beautiful area. There's beautiful trees all around.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
So is this your home now? This area is your home?
You know, I keep people guessing. I don't really tell people where I live.
Okay, so
this is where the office is, but I'm not here all the time.
You live in a suitcase. You travel everywhere.
Yeah. With you know, the X3 fits in the suitcase.
And that's another thing that's nice about it is you can travel with this. There's no reason to miss a workout.
And I don't.
And it shows.
Yeah. Thank you.
Next time you see me, I'm going to look like you. We're going to look more like brothers.
Wow. You're going to have to get a haircut.
I know. I'm sorry. This is really shabby. I'm embarrassed. Sorry, John.
That's okay. You either need a violin or a protester sign or you need a real haircut.
John.
Yeah.
So, you don't miss a workout. And your workouts how long?
I tell people Thor doesn't travel without his hammer.
There you go.
You're not going to find me without an X3. I keep one in the trunk of the Lamborghini, and I keep one in my suitcase. And I have one in the office, and then my various places that I live.
Well, your video with you driving the Lambo and then getting out and getting your quick workout
and doing the workout,
the trees,
and
then getting back in.
That was right up the road. That was right up here.
That's a great video because it shows you how convenient.
Oh, that made the trolls mad. Very jealous people. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. We should be ecstatic and we should be honoring people that excel in this country. There was a time where inventors and people that did wonderful things were celebrated. And it's almost like nowadays, if you do anything that's successful or anything that makes the world a better place, that's different, you get chastised for it. And I really don't understand that type of thing.
It's because we have everything's sort of run by a mob mentality now, just angry.
Well, I don't hang around those people.
Right, but you can't help it on social media. That's what social media is. It's just an angry mob of people. And so, and also keep in mind the people that participate the most in social media are the people with the most time on their hands. So are they the successful ones?
I don't know. We're in media and we use it very successfully.
Oh, it's part of our work. That's totally different.
So, John.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on social media all day too.
Just let everybody know we are successful and our viewership is up 1,600% in the last four weeks.
Nice. Good.
So I don't think it's I think it's the team, of course. I'm just there for the ride, but
you're the pretty face.
Yeah, well, I mean, we look very similar, so I don't know what that means, John. So,
well, they can interpret it however they want to.
If people want to purchase this, where can they get it?
They can go to x3bar.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about the book, how all the book's done again. Let's go back to the book.
So the book, within 3 days, was a bestseller in some of the largest categories. It's number one in weight training. It's number one in fitness and exercise. It's number one. It is number one in some strange categories like aerobics, which is like, really? But maybe not a lot of people are buying aerobics books. Also, do we really call it aerobics still? I mean, does anyone even use that word? I mean, is there a
I do.
jazzercise category too? It's like I don't
She
know.
actually lives in San Diego, by the way.
Does she?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. She's done very well for herself.
Oh, I'm sure. The jazzercise lady. What's her name?
I forget.
I forgot her name. Yeah.
We're gonna have her on the show. But
Yeah. She's like an icon.
Her story.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jack LaLanne was my first boss, and
okay.
Jack was a very
I remember you telling me
ingenious guy. I don't know if you knew that he invented the incline bench.
I did know that.
And the extension.
I got to hang out with him when he swam to Alcatraz and back.
You did?
Yeah.
Were you born?
Yeah, he did it recently, like before he died.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, he was doing it like he was a very old guy.
First of all, how old are you?
I'm 43.
Okay, so I mean, John looks phenomenal. I mean,
thanks, man.
And Jack lived and loved all this type of stuff, and I know he would have been.
He would have been all about that.
Oh, he loved this.
Yeah, he wasn't afraid of innovation.
No, even though the day he died, I mean, he was still figuring out, trying to do things, and he never gave up. I think he loved new innovation. I think he would love this.
Yeah. God, when did he die? I mean,
it's been like 3 or 4 years.
So it was about 10 years ago.
I
was with him when he swam.
Yeah, maybe 6, 7.
6, 7. Yeah, it was about 10 years ago.
Okay, we saw his wife 3 years ago. Okay, that's what we went to the mansion. And nobody had been in his gym since he had passed. She let us in there.
Oh wow!
And a lot of that stuff that's in there was made like in the 50s. It looks like it was just made yesterday. It's this color. It looks just like this.
Yeah, sure.
He has a lot of weird, unique cable type apparatus things and Smith machine type stuff.
Sure.
But it was made only for him. But that stuff's like old. You would, and it's so industrial that it hasn't even aged. I mean, it's not even a dent in it.
Yeah, sure.
I have a feeling that this durability is also going to be with the X3 is also going to be the same way. It's going to be something that is around for a long time.
I expect people to hand it down to their grandkids.
Well, there's probably going to be ideas and things you come along with that you maybe never even thought with that you could add to this whole thing. Maybe.
Did you look in the lab?
No.
No. Okay. Well, don't.
There are things.
Oh yeah, you're always working on something.
You're probing and thinking of things. And,
but that doesn't mean that everything that I come up with is like a viable product. Like there was something that I came up with a few months ago that would build really thick calluses on your feet, so that your feet were really tough. You know, because like you go to the beach, and that's a problem I have. I spend a lot of time at various beaches. And we wear shoes, so our feet are not conditioned for walking on hard surfaces.
Like some of the people in Africa that run the marathon.
You're right, exactly. Like they don't wear shoes. Right. Like Nike wants to sponsor them, and they're like, well, "You got nothing for me."
Maybe a tattoo on the ankle.
Right. Sure. I think it would be really cool to have really calloused feet. So when I go to the beach, I can just walk on the rocks or whatever. Especially like I'm 240 pounds.
You know, I look at you. You're a big guy, but I would never guess you weigh 240. You're all complete muscle density. It's just you look great. I would never guess 240.
But 240 pounds, I put on 60 pounds of muscle since turning 40. So it's because of X3, right? So it's like my feet are fine when I'm wearing shoes and I'm walking on pavement. But when I go and walk on like rocks where there's a little bit concentrated pressure in certain points,
ouch.
Yeah, my feet are not used to it. So I really wanted to build this product, but I sort of did an informal poll in a couple of discussion groups, and people were like, "Why would I want that?" So I decided not to build it. There's like every female was like, "No, I do not want hooves." They just thought it was like a gross idea.
Well, actually, in my past,
some of the guys were like, "Oh yeah," and especially like kind of like the hippie guys who are like, like I'm gonna like live in a van off the grid, and I'm only gonna eat grass-fed meat, and I'm gonna be like a caveman, kind of thing. Because this is like a movement. I think these people are cool. You clearly don't. We got a peanut gallery going on behind the camera. So it's like those guys were like, oh, I would absolutely get that. That sounds awesome.
So you also brought something. I mean,
they were the only ones.
The one thing I find is you're a genius at what you do, of course. But what I find is you think outside the box. Tell us a little bit about how you eat.
I eat one meal a day, and then not every day.
Not
So
every day.
no. Some days I'll do I'll do like a 72-hour fast a week is what I'm doing right now.
So for 2 days you don't eat.
Three.
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 3 days, and then
So like usually Sunday dinner, and then the next meal I have will be Wednesday dinner.
So there's been studies, and you know this, where it shows that people that actually eat less live longer. What do you think about that from a longevity standpoint?
I think that's oversimplified.
Think so?
I think the metric they tested was calories consumed versus long life. I think it may have more to do with cellular repair and just allowing for autophagy to happen. Like when you keep your intestines engaged and you're always digesting food, they don't rest.
Right.
And no, like the only thing that's supposed to be working at all times to some degree is your heart. I mean, even your brain shuts down when you go to sleep to a degree. To a high degree, most of your sleep. So I think it's that these people who eat less are also eating less frequently. So I don't think you need to be one of these guys that just has like a pile of kale, once a week or something like that. You can have a platter of steaks and just have some serious time restrictions between those meals.
So when you have your one meal, typically when you're not doing your fast, tell us what you would eat during that meal.
3 pounds of steak.
That's it by itself?
Yeah.
No vegetables?
No.
So all protein?
Well, there's fat in the steaks too.
Do you ever do fish? Cold water fish?
Rarely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So steak is your go-to.
Yeah.
And does it make a difference if it's grass-fed?
It does, but that's not always available. So
yeah, it isn't. You're right.
Yeah, I mean,
it's nice in theory.
Yeah, I mean, if I live in California, so it's pretty easy to find a grass-fed piece of meat in California. You do too.
I had one last night.
Yeah, but
I had other things with it too, John.
Okay.
That's a chocolate cake with it. I apologize, but
whoa,
sorry.
You didn't need.
I know.
I'm right here.
I know.
Like if we were on a phone call, it's like I can't even
I feel like it should be
grab you.
Should be a confessional here.
Yeah. That I should probably build one. Boy, you really got me distracted.
It's amazing the chocolate cake distracted me too. But so theory on vegetables. Why not vegetables?
Inflammatories, oxalates. Like people say, you need antioxidants. You only need antioxidants if you're oxidizing.
Okay.
So don't oxidize.
And
the poison comes with the antidote, with the antioxidants. It's like, oh, you need this and this and this. No, you don't. You just need to not be inflamed.
Is the meat somewhat cooked or is it a little raw?
I like it as rare as they'll usually give it to me.
Because all the nutrient bases.
Yeah. So when I do steak at home, like I did steaks for my parents and I last night.
That's nice.
Yeah, well, see, they appreciate me cooking because they think I'm such a sweet boy. The truth is, I don't like the way anyone else does it.
You have your own.
So, I'm doing no, I'm doing the steak. And they're like, oh, you're so sweet, and I'm like, yeah, you'll just screw it up. So, I mean, yes, you can call it sweet, okay? Yeah, but no, I mean, there's nothing worse than a burned piece of meat. It's just like you ruined this. Like if I was hungry for this, I would have eaten my belt. So I always do the steaks and I sous vide for a little bit. Like I have a cinder. I don't know if you know what cinder is. It's the best grill in the world.
A cinder.
Cinder. Yeah, CINDER.
So tell us.
In fact, I have a couple of them, and so you put it on the regular setting, the sous vide setting. And then, so it basically just warms the whole thing throughout to like 129 degrees. So it doesn't cook it at all.
So it's like a very warm. It is.
And then I switch it to 450, sear it for 45 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it is rare. It is beautiful.
Well, it's any wonder why you don't want to go anywhere and have a steak.
No kidding. Oh yeah,
That's
I can
right?
outdo, Club A in Manhattan with steaks.
That's
I think
impressive.
that's like the best steakhouse.
So have you done anything? Have you done a video on you cooking your steaks?
Not yet.
I think you need to.
Yeah. Well, I just got a new place, which has a great kitchen.
Well, of course.
I mean, an undisclosed location, of course.
But I mean, I can see you're very, you're a very passionate guy. I think that one of the reasons people are successful is you can't fake passion. You're passionate about everything you do, and of course, you would have a great kitchen because you're very passionate about your food.
Right. Well, especially, you know what? It wasn't that big of a deal until what do we want to call it? The pandemic, I guess. I mean, the pandemic that never was. I mean, by definition, by the way, this is not a pandemic. Millions of more people would have needed to die to actually be a pandemic.
I saw something posted at the end of the day, and I get a lot of heat from some of the things I post. I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff I post, but I had said that it was in 2008, 55 million people got the swine flu.
Right.
And so far, what do we have? Less than 5 million people that have gotten COVID.
Worldwide, I think I saw 7 million.
Okay,
but,
so let's say it's 7
but it's like a 0.02 death rate.
So I mean, let's say it is 7.
So it's
so if it's 7 million worldwide and there was 55 million with the swine flu, why don't we shut everything down in 2008 when there was a swine flu?
Yeah, swine flu was actually fit the pandemic definition.
Right?
Yeah.
So why don't we shut everything down?
Because there was no politics to that. There was no political advantage to ruining the country, but there is now.
I feel bad for the people out there
who lost their jobs.
Well, not only that, they couldn't go to the gym, and maybe that was what kept them from. It was their medicine, their lifestyle. They kept them being sane.
Yeah.
So the X3 has probably done very well during the pandemic because people need to train.
Yeah, I hate saying it. I'd rather it didn't. I'd rather not.
Right?
Yes, and a lot of what happened was really interesting. We always had a lot of use from professional athletes, and the use from professional athletes skyrocketed when this happened because as soon as I started putting ads out about the book, people read what the head coach of the Miami Heat said about it and how it was just the best and safest training, most effective and safest training program, and that's why they have switched. They're heavily using X3, and now they do their basketball drills and stuff like that. They have to do that.
Are you having NFL and MMA also using it?
So now I get called from agents of NFL and NBA guys, mostly NFL and NBA. We got one Olympic guy, of course, Dr. Sean Baker.
Okay.
He's a world record strength holder, but he and I were already friends. The point is, a lot of pro athletes who aren't going to miss a workout were like, I need this thing. And then, of course, as soon as they start using it, they're like, this is the best workout I've ever had in my life. Like, I mean, the X3 is better than their entire gym, at the stadium.
So two things that come to mind, a lot of things, but two things that come to mind right now is probably people have less chance of getting an injury on using the X3 compared to using weights.
Right, because in the ranges of motion where you're more likely to damage a joint, the weight drops off. Now you still go to fatigue in those ranges of motion because we use diminishing range. So like, for example, I'm gonna do the chest press and hit that 540 until I can't, let's say 20 reps. So 20 reps go by. Now I can't get there, so I do reps with just the 300 in the middle. And then I can't get there anymore. So the last couple reps, I'm going to fatigue in the weakest range of motion.
So you don't stop until you can't do it anymore.
Until you can't move. That's when you're done.
That's why he's able to get the results.
That's why the stimulus is so powerful. You can't do that with a weight. You can only do that with a high degree of variance in variables.
So the intensity and the burn must be just off the charts.
Intensity is off the charts. Your oxygen depletion is just like, I'm on my hands and knees after every set, gasping for air.
You hear that? And in 5 or 10 minutes, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
So your whole workout takes less than an hour for a whole week.
Yeah, yeah. But well, so the bigger a muscle becomes, the more cardiovascular demand that muscle has. So like I was at you ever been to Munich airport?
No.
Okay. Munich airport.
Okay.
There's stairs. Like you land, you go upstairs and then you go through like a check through point where they like make sure that you're not, I don't know, a terrorist or something. And then you go downstairs and you go through immigration and then you go back upstairs and go to baggage claim. And then even if you're landing there or taking a connecting flight, Munich is very weird. And you're going up and down the stairs is my point, like 4 times. And so I'm running because I'm headed to Moscow and I'm just stopping in Munich and I'm with a guy who weighs about 140 pounds and he's a runner. And so he looks at me and I'm like, oh, I kind of out of breath after going up and down the stairs. He says, wow, your cardiovascular health is not so good. He says, at X3, like, is that not doing cardio for you? And I said, no. My quadriceps are 4 times bigger than yours are, and a bigger engine draws more blood. So this is part of the myth that like strength athletes have bad cardio. No, strength athletes can't run distance because their muscles are so large that they're drawing more blood to them. But that doesn't mean that the heart is of poor health. The heart is in incredible health. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if you're running for the sake of being able to run far, then running is the right thing. If you want to do exercise for cardiovascular health, well, you could do 10 minutes a day of X3 and you're going to be better off because you're going to protect your joints, unlike distance runners. Distance runners do not protect the joints. They destroy their joints. It's a better solution from a cardiovascular standpoint too. But my point is, my workout no longer takes 10 minutes. It takes about 15 because after every set, I am gasping for air.
So what's your take on less workout and more time for the body to heal or recover? I mean, is it something that comes into equation with that?
Yeah, well, anything in nature that's an adaptive response, we see one exposure. So my background's bone density. One exposure to the proper amount of load triggers the adaptive effect. One. And it takes, the real effect of the load on the bone takes 1/100 of a second. It's usually seen in high impact. So now my medical device takes the high impact out of it, so it might take 5 seconds instead of 1/100 of a second. Still, not a lot of time under tension, which is part of the reason I think time under tension it's an interesting argument, but I think ultimately not a very good one. It's talked about all the time like it's some, it's one of the commandments of weightlifting or something like that. It's really not, because what you want is the most profound level of fatigue and you have variable capacity. So, right. And, so I say to people when they say, well, how come you only do 1 set? And I say, you ever had a tan? And they go, yeah. Well, how many sets did you do in the sun to get that tan every day? How many sets, when you go out and you got to run back in and let your skin recover and go out again and then run back in and let your skin recover? How many times do you need to do that? And they're like, well, that's not how it works. You just go outside. And then, before you burn, you're done. You're done. Right. 1 exposure. Callus, 1 exposure. Bone density, 1 exposure.
How many bullets does it take to feel pain?
Right. That's not an adaptive response, though. It's a trauma response. So good try though. So the ultimately adaptive response works with 1 stimulus. The reason people do multiple sets is because weightlifting is a waste of time. That is a perfect symbol of I love the look on your face.
Well, because
I love the fact
because I'm imagining what people are saying about this when you say that. That's why you're seeing that look.
Right. They're like, they're furious when I say it, but that doesn't mean it's not true.
Well,
I can tell people a lot of stuff they don't want to hear.
Yeah, but I believe what you're saying is true, and it has worked for you, and I'm sure it's worked for a lot of other people.
60,000.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
You probably have some amazing testimonies.
Oh yeah, they're on the website. There's some people who don't write a testimonial. I'll just run into them like in an airport, and they're like, "I put on 20 pounds of muscle in less than 6 months," and they're like, "It totally changed my life. I feel incredible." And I'm like, "Did you put that anywhere online?" And they're like, "No, I don't have time for that."
That's typically most people nowadays. How much sleep do you get? 6?
Interesting.
4?
Days I'm fasted,
Deeper?
I cannot get more than 5 hours of sleep.
You're ready to go.
I like leap out of bed at like 4 a.m. Like, I'm done sleeping. Really weird because the body doesn't have to shut down in the same way because there's nothing to digest. Right? So, I mean, like it goes through, it's the autophagy I need to go through. I just can't sleep more than 5 hours on fasted days.
Because when you do have your 3 pounds of meat, what happens then?
Oh, then I sleep 8 hours or 9.
So your body's working, it's digesting, it's working.
Yeah.
So there is something to that whole heavy-duty Thanksgiving dinner then, where people want to sleep right after they eat. Then
I think that has a lot to do with the excessive tryptophan in the turkey.
And then
because Thanksgiving dinner is always steak for me. I know, I'm such a pain in the ass. Yeah, I've never been married. Can you tell?
You never marry a turkey.
No, I've dated some turkeys. Yeah, real pains in the ass. I don't want any unsolicited advice.
Well, why would you want to add more? That's another thing too. You have a way of living, so stress and being around people that are toxic can also affect your health.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Yeah, I've got a great style about inviting them to leave. Yeah.
So what do? You say, well, this is not working out, or do you just serve them meat, hardly cooked?
Well, that's when the relationship is going well.
Oh.
So, no, I just tell them, just pack your shit.
Cut and dry.
Yeah. Sorry. Can't do this.
Well, at least.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. One thing I can tell, and it makes sense, you're very much about time. Time is very valuable to you, and wasting things is very valuable.
Well, I did not develop this to be like a quick thing or like any that just happened to be what it was. Like if we needed an hour, I would have made it an hour.
But I mean, it seems like you live your life based on time, speed. Like it's your car that you drive. It's about efficiency, quality.
Certainly not efficiency or fuel economy. Yeah.
But as far as getting you from point A to point B, there is something about the delivery, the way the car drives. This is a very high performance piece of equipment.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful tool. It's a beautiful thing to add to one's life.
Sure.
You're very smart. You're very...
Yes. Okay. I see where you're getting at. Yeah. I am a total minimalist. I like people...
And efficiency is very important.
Yeah. Like all of my places, when somebody walks in, they're like, do you live here? Or is this like a Airbnb or what? Like, what is this? And then, they see like, the artwork and they're like, okay, you definitely live here. But it's like, I don't have things in my life that are clutter. And almost everything people keep in their lives is clutter. It's a distraction. It's a waste of time. And that's part of my reason, in relationships, why I blow them up so quick.
If I was a girl, I'd be gone, John.
I don't know. You're pretty straightforward, but if I saw you in a wig, I think you'd look terrible.
Yeah, no. You know what? The clutter,
the nightmare. Yeah, you would not get my number,
John. So I have an obsession with learning, and I like books. I love learning, and I cut through. I took speed reading for 2 years in college.
Oh yeah.
So I cut through things pretty quick.
Yeah, I did too. I took that too.
They need to bring that back. I think, by the way.
Yeah.
But I have a thing for information, really good information in books. So I've collected a lot of material like that.
Cool.
That's my clutter.
Well, that's not clutter. That serves a purpose. It's not clutter at all.
You haven't seen my stuff.
You could have.
I've got a lot of clutter. Books,
you could have
education.
Yeah, you could have storage units packed with books. Those are used. See, it's like something's got to have a use. Like, like people were like, "What? Why would you buy a worthless car like a Lamborghini?"
That's not a worthless car.
Well, I'll tell you what. I wouldn't have bought a Lamborghini, except Audi bought the company about 10 years ago and made them like daily driver reliable.
I like Audi, by the way, too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, reliable. Like so.
Audi's a good car.
Yeah, and so as soon as
I didn't know that they
I got
bought them.
oh yeah, as soon as I got the statistics on the maintenance of Lamborghini, it was just like done, getting it. Yeah.
How many have you had?
No, this is my first Lambo. I had an Alfa Romeo before this, a 911 before that.
911's a good car. Never mind, John.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't say something nice, you didn't say anything at all. Mine was not a good car.
We're talking Porsche.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay. It wasn't terribly unreliable, but I had multiple. It was a Carrera 4S, so it was like the wide body.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very cool looking.
Yeah.
But I had multiple services that were over 10 grand. Like I owned it for 3 years, and I think I had 4 services that were 10 grand a piece, and it was like I could have bought another car. Like, this is terrible. I could have bought 2 other cars for the amount of money that I put in the maintenance of that car.
So what's the maintenance?
Porsche is not my favorite brand.
What's the maintenance on a Lambo?
I've had it.
It's got to be up there.
I've had it in Christmas. This coming Christmas Eve, it'll be 2 years. I haven't done anything other than service it, so I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
I mean,
maybe the Audi.
The services are like 2 or 3 grand, but like
Nothing like a Porsche.
No.
So maybe the Audi connection has something to do with that too.
Yeah. I really think they scored. But I mean, the point is like minimalism. Like
that's what I was going to say.
Like that car, while it seems excessive, it's not to me. Like, I don't take much with me. The car doesn't have a cup holder, but I usually have a girlfriend. I make her hold my coffee.
And if she doesn't.
If she doesn't, new girlfriend. Yeah.
New cup of coffee, new girlfriend.
Yeah.
John. So here's the thing, I think.
So what they told me in Italy, by the way, I'm like, there's no cup holder. They're like, yeah, I get a girlfriend. I was like, all right.
It's probably easier to get rid of the cup of coffee, I would think. Never mind, John.
Oh, they did say, you just drink espresso. Then you stop and you have your espresso and you keep going. And I was like, all right, either way. Maybe when I'm single, I'll have espresso.
So I think that what we've gotten out of this interview today, and I've gotten way more than I expected, by the way.
Cool. Yeah.
Seriously.
Thank you.
I mean, we really have. You're very open, very honest, and genuine. Maybe your next book will be lifestyle and being a minimalist. I think that would be very. We need that more so now than ever.
I think there is something there. Just like in business.
Yeah.
Like there's minimalism in like not having a lot of like furniture and stuff you don't need. But that's more literal. Like when I talk about minimalism, I mean just like distractions. Like get the distractions out of your life. Look at social media and how many people are going absolutely insane over things they have no effect over. Like
I just post things and leave and come back a week later and everybody's torn each other up. I'm like, okay, I'll do a new one.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just something inflammatory and bye.
No, just something to get I believe in. Here's what I think. Not so much inflammatory. More what I like to do is, and I think we.
I know exactly what you're doing.
I want to say one word, and I want to say, what is everybody's thoughts on this, and then I let everybody talk about their thoughts, because you can learn from discussion things that maybe you didn't think about.
Oh yeah. I try and only learn from published research, because I think I know what you mean. Yes, there are some interesting ideas I've read from open discussion, but I
as a whole,
yeah,
you like cutting edge, cut to the chase.
Yeah, like
time minimalist.
Right, like if you look at what the clinical outcomes are, I don't care what anybody else has to say. Oh God, I made a lot of people angry when I posted some of the earlier trials of hydroxychloroquine.
So what's your theory on that?
There is no theory. It works. Like, yeah, like that's it. Like
there's a lot of people that don't believe that it works.
Well, yeah, because they want
the president takes it.
They want to keep screaming "Orange Man bad," like just because they
Orange Man bad.
Orange Man bad. I mean, that's how smart these people are. I mean, like, look, like it's not like I understand. I definitely understand why he's been unpopular from time to time. But okay, so you don't like him on Twitter, then delete Twitter. Twitter's dumb anyway.
If anything, he's probably helped him get more clients.
Honestly, if he left Twitter, I don't think there would be a Twitter.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Oh, he's the rainmaker for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd give him half the company. But I think it's like I understand why he's not the most popular guy, but it's not. He didn't get elected gentleman of the United States.
No.
He got elected to the hardest leadership job, which is thankless and has no financial reward.
Because he doesn't take the salary.
Yeah, well, even if he did, it's nothing. It's like $400,000 a year. Nothing. For that job? Oh, to be the most hated person on earth? And I mean, even popular presidents are still the most hated person on earth because nobody in any other country likes a U.S. president. That's their enemy. We're the competitor of every other country.
Well, more so right now, I think, than we probably have been in our lifetime.
Right. We always were, but
nothing like this.
Well, we were a joke of a competitor because we just give away our advantage.
We just lay down.
Yeah. I mean, like NAFTA was just giving away our advantage, just handing it to someone else. Just like winning the trophy and just handing it to somebody in the crowd and saying, "Nah, yeah, you get it, you win."
No, so that's hard. I won the trophy, but I'm going to give it to you, and I won. But you have it. It's yours.
No, but this with NAFTA, they actually won because they got all the money, they got all the everything.
Well, but I mean, here's the thing. I think there are people that like people like you because, and they may disagree with you, but you make them do things they normally wouldn't do, just like the president is.
It's
doing.
actually impossible to disagree with me because I have data.
Well,
I don't.
Well, that's my point, and I think the president is in the same way. There's a lot of people that were talking. Maybe they're afraid of losing friends or family members.
Yeah.
That were saying things about him.
So dumb.
But they voted for him.
Yeah.
My point is, there's something inside people where they really want the truth, and they may.
Sure.
And when it comes down to it, and they go into that wherever they're voting from, what they say and what they really think are not always the same thing.
Fact.
And I think there's a lot of people that might be upset with the beliefs and the theories and the information that you've gathered and brought with X3 and the whole lifestyle part.
Sure.
But I think there's a lot
But
of people.
it's similar to what I was saying about hydroxychloroquine. That's why I brought it up. All I would do was just post data from the studies. And so people would see the data and they'd be furious about the outcomes of a study. If you're emotionally upset by a scientific finding, that like defines like a psychological problem. Like you're not supposed to be emotional about science. It's just it just is. Water flows downhill, not uphill. Don't cry about it. That's just the way it is. You're not going to change it. It shouldn't offend you. Water isn't racist. It's just gonna flow downhill. That's the way it works.
And because it does flow downhill doesn't mean it's racist. It's just
that's right.
It's just the way it is.
Well, right. So yeah, and we just have to be completely dispassionate. And if someone's goal is getting stronger and getting leaner, well, are they open to a different approach? And that's why I call the book "Weightlifting is a Waste of Time," because I want a lot of people to pick that up and say, "Oh, I'm going to read this book and I'm going to write down a list of why this jerk is wrong." And they get about 20 pages into it and they're like, "Wow, like not what I expected. Like this guy's right 100%." And
So
I come out swinging like right in the first chapter.
So there's people that there's people that know what they know. And like myself, I've been in the game doing this stuff. I've done everything for the last, since 1976. I've been doing this stuff. I've seen everything come and go. I used to make equipment, so I can tell everybody out there the reason me and the team came to see John was because I think he has something based on what he's saying. And I'll be honest, I'm a student and I'm learning. But it makes sense to me, everything that he says. And I think there's nothing wrong with having an open mind and learning new things. And once we get to the point where we're not learning things, it's time to dig a hole and jump in.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, if you give up on learning, I don't know.
I mean, there's something we can always learn. Yeah. I appreciate what you've done. I look forward to getting to know you better. And I myself am going to start using the X3 myself tonight.
Good,
because I got a program.
You got one. Yeah.
I got one. I'm gonna do your information.
All right.
And even though I know you're not a bodybuilding fan, and this is for executives and high-end athletes, this could be used for bodybuilders if they're willing to change.
Oh yeah, no. I think all I said was bodybuilders are the hardest ones to convince because they have the most myths in their industry.
Sure.
Like, there's so many things that they do. I mean, look at it this way. Like, bodybuilders in the 70s would try and stay super hydrated during the contests. Now they dehydrate.
Right.
Because they realize it just looks better when you're dehydrated.
More cut up.
Yeah. Or, even they have completely reversed their position on lots of things.
Everything's changed.
Right. And so, like, when bodybuilders were the last ones to really admit to ketogenesis, like when Dave Asprey first came out with the Bulletproof Diet, and now ketogenic nutrition has been around since the 60s, since they made the observations with the epileptics.
Right.
Yeah, there's very positive outcomes with epileptics. So, but they noticed these epileptics all of a sudden were in great shape. Like, they were muscular, they were cut, they were
having less
inflammation, and they felt and looked great. And so there were people that were like, oh, that's weird. Like, they're eating no vegetables or very few, and they're eating all meat, and they look fantastic and feel fantastic. And so other people went to try it. But bodybuilders, like, and here's another one with intermittent fasting. Like, just a few years ago, there was videos all over YouTube where they were ridiculing intermittent fasting. You're going to lose all your muscle. So, of course, these guys don't read research, because there's research from the 60s that show you don't lose any muscle. You lose muscle when you do a caloric deficit, which is what they do to cut for a contest. So there's so much in bodybuilding that's just nonsense. Doesn't mean it doesn't work. It means it might be one of the worst ways to go. But that's still what they follow, because it's what all the other guys do.
Sure.
So, like, that's when I made the decision, when I realized that these guys are kind of dogmatically following each other.
I don't follow anybody, by the way.
Nice. Yeah.
Why would you? I'm going to follow what you're saying because it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But I don't just follow somebody to follow somebody.
Of course.
It has to make logic. There has to be some logic.
Right. And so instead, when I launched X3, I targeted busy professionals. Like, just busy professionals. Long haul truckers. I targeted long haul truckers.
Well, I would see.
Because what choice do they have? Where do they work out?
This would be great for people driving trucks. I can see how.
They're on board already.
How many truckers are using this?
I mean, I've just seen off the top of my head, maybe 1,000.
That's great.
I don't know how many long haul truckers are. I think there's a lot. There's a lot.
We've got to get the truckers using this.
Yeah.
More truckers. I mean, I could see where there'd be an advantage.
And I've seen photographs from, like, the yards, the lots where these guys pull over and sleep next to the Flying J's, out in the middle of the country. You guys all know what a Flying J is.
It's a jet, right?
No, Flying J is it's like a convenience store gas station that they gas up the big rigs.
Okay,
and they got like a shower in them that you pay like $2 to use. Yeah,
those are cool.
Yeah. They're great if you're driving across country.
I've never heard it called Flying Jet.
Flying J. That's a brand. It's a brand name.
Okay.
So I've seen pictures from these lots where these guys are working out like at a Flying J lot, and they're just standing on the pavement using their X3. It's awesome.
Is there anything? I have 3 questions for you. What one word best describes you? One word.
Probably serious.
I don't see it, John.
Doesn't mean I don't have a sense of humor.
Okay, serious.
I don't know. I like wasting my time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say genius.
Okay, you can say that. I wouldn't say it about myself. But thanks, man. That's nice.
Okay, so the other thing I would say is, what's your passion?
Learning. Just gathering new information, probably learning and then passing it on to others, because that's really what my job is. My job isn't just making X3 ads or promoting OsteoStrong or speaking about science. It's really finding the best thing we can do, documenting it so that I make sure that the idea is really correct, and then getting it to the world.
One last question that kind of fits with the times.
Hmm.
What is it that we're lacking in this country or the world that we need to do, that we need to bring ourselves together and to be more as one?
Boy, I think we need a serious amount of honesty in media and in advertising. You know, as right now, like we got nutrition principles written by Nabisco. I mean, the reason you see
They own Oreo, right?
I think so.
Is Oreo kind of like, doesn't count, right? Because Oreo is...
It's vegan. Oh, Oreos are vegan.
Yeah.
So vegans suck them up all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They have vegan
Which
Oreos
is,
now.
yeah.
They have a vegan Oreo.
Yeah. No, all Oreo cookies are vegan.
Are they dairy free?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know a couple of vegans, and they suck them up all the time, and then they wonder why they're always tired, and they you know, just can't barely get out of bed. It's like, well, because you're basically just spooning sugar into your mouth. So Nabisco knows, but this is just a symbol of what I'm talking about, where, you know, the honesty must be, we need to make honesty like by force kind of thing, because like Nabisco pays for a lot of vegan research, and the reason it does that is because it knows, that company knows, the executives of that company know that vegans don't, for the most part, eat vegetables. They eat cookies and candy and cake and
Vegans?
Healthy nut bars, which are not healthy at all.
Vegans?
Yes, vegans. Yeah, they're not healthy people. They don't make healthy choices. They're just doing it for some made-up religious reason.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so you pay attention to the grocery store, like like the person asking, "Is this vegan?" They're holding up like a box of cookies, and so Nabisco knows that, and so what they want to do is they want to have everybody go vegan so they can sell them the delicious nut bars, which are just loaded with sugar and addictive.
They don't cost that much to make.
Right, and they have a 600% margin. So that's why that dynamic is going on. The meat business has almost no margin. Like, you're really paying for what you're getting. And so, because Nabisco finds a way to make something that's like literally cheaper than dirt. Grain is literally cheaper than soil. So they can turn that into a food product and then tell people it's healthy because it's vegan. Because you don't have to have the health argument when you just stamp vegan on it. Vegans go, well, it's vegan. It's got to be good for you. So let's have another sleeve of Oreos. And they're getting fatter by the minute and weaker by the second. And okay, well, that's a failing endeavor. But
so coming together, I guess.
Yeah, if we have honesty. Right, like, and look at the news outlets they're allowed to just outright lie about stuff, and social media, and I mean the news media figured it out from social media because they saw that guys like Alex Jones had as many followers as some CNN shows,
right? And
he was just lying about all kinds of stuff.
But CNN
he was also right about a couple of things, which is really eerie.
CNN is actually going down daily, and the people are not watching CNN as much.
Right, but for a period of time, they were like, this guy doesn't have to be honest. Why do we? And he's getting more traffic than us, so we can just make stuff up too. And so they did, and so it's really been. Almost everything you look at online, and then another thing, like when Facebook and YouTube delete something, it has the opposite effect, because then people are like, oh, it must be true, because they're trying to hide it. If it was so outlandish, if it was such a joke, why are they hiding it?
That's true.
Oh, totally right. We need to live in a world that and science is very heavily manipulated. Like, I see hashtag science on all kinds of things that are the opposite of the actual science. Like, just by saying hashtag science doesn't make you right. In fact, you're stamping that there so you can pretend you're right, but you're really wrong. So yeah, it's a shame that people are just people lie about me all the time. Like, I read things about me. Oh, the other day I heard I lost my license to practice medicine, except I'm a PhD and we don't have a license to practice medicine. We're researchers. I mean, it's just like totally like nonsense. Like, okay, cool. Yeah.
Hopefully we get to do another interview sometime. If
Yeah.
you're interested. And,
Absolutely. Maybe I can come down to San Diego.
We would love to have you come to Coronado and
Yeah.
buy you 3 pounds of meat.
Yeah.
I'll get with you.
What are the restaurants open right now? Or?
Yeah, all right, in Coronado they are.
Okay.
You just have to eat outside.
Yeah.
We'll have a good time.
Nice.
Thank you so much for what you're doing, and we'll make sure that we share with not only share it. We are going to use. We like to investigate. I'm going to do a story, and I'm going to find out what John says is true, and I think it is. But I'm going to do it myself and take his information, and hopefully we can educate people out there. There's no reason why you shouldn't have time to work out, and there's no reason why you shouldn't have time to have a better lifestyle. And I agree with being a minimalist. And if anything came out of that, I think that we've learned more about you. And again, thank you for what you're doing.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Awesome, Brett. Thanks for having me.